Come on, this is not a Republican fundraiser. Good evening. Good evening. Well, what an honor to be with so many great Democrats again. Let's first of all thank Jay and Bob again for opening up their beautiful home. Give them a great round of applause. And also give Tiffany a great round of applause for the outstanding work. I'm supposed to tell you, pass all your ballots up immediately. Right now, we need them because they're going to start counting. And when they come back out, I stop talking. So they'll count quick, we'll get this done. And let me also say to all of you here, thank you for what you have done to help our candidates, to help the party on all the issues that matter. You don't get thanked enough. We've recognized everybody in the crowd, but you know, you're all the foot soldiers. You're out there every single day. So give yourselves a great round of applause for the outstanding work that you've done. We got some big elections coming up. I'm as excited as anybody. 2011, I have said this. I think LeVar told me today this is my 289th event since the primary, as I've traveled around the Commonwealth.
I'm counting.
LeVar's counting. I got him out of retirement to come. Now he's working for me. He's actually working. Worked at the state party. I'm only kidding you. But as I traveled all over the Commonwealth, my message has always been the same. This is a big deal election for us, folks. We need more state senators. I mean, that has been the bastion to protect us on so many big issues. I'm one that say we ought to go in this election saying we ought to pick up seats in the House of Delegates. Let's not go in saying we're going to lose a couple. How about winning a couple seats? And it's important because this really sets the table for what happens in the next 3 years. We got a big 3-year horizon. We've got the elections this year. Next year, as you know, we got Barack Obama at the top of the ballot. We got to win Virginia again, as we did last time. It is critical. We got to make sure, Tim Kaine, we win the United States Senate seat because the United States Senate is in play. And then whatever happens in 2013, but we do have to get the governor's mansion back because of all these issues that matter. When I ran for governor, if you didn't know, I actually did run for governor. I ran on a lot of big ideas. I just thought we ought to put a lot of big ideas on the table. We got to change. We need some game-changing events here, folks, in Virginia. We got to move forward, not backwards. It is a tough economy. It is a tough global economy out there, and we're not doing what we need to do to attract business here in Virginia. I have 5 young children. I want all 5 of them to stay here in Virginia. But when we don't have what I talk about, a mandatory renewable energy standard, we are the only state in the Mid-Atlantic that doesn't have one. You can go to D.C., Maryland, Ohio, Pennsylvania, North Carolina. I'm in the business. If you didn't know, I've done a couple, I ran for governor on a lot of big ideas. I didn't win, but it's okay. I had a great time running. But the issues are still the same. And I said, we got to create new economic activity. So I didn't get to do it as governor, but as you probably know, I went out and started a company called Green Tech Automotive. I'm building electric vehicles. I'm building hybrid. 5 cars I'm building. Our headquarters are in Tyson's Corner. I've done what no man's ever done. I actually went to China and bought their biggest electric car company, manufacturing, and moved the entire company to the United States of America. In October. I'd love it if you buy one. Go on our website. As Bill Clinton likes to say, oh man, Terry's found his perfect job. He's a car salesman. I say, no, Mr. President, I had to sell some of your stuff too. Well, listen, they're the most expensive friend I ever had. But my headquarters in Tyson's Corner. I wanted to put my first plant here, but as you know, we didn't come here because Virginia didn't bid on it. And I just think that's a disgrace. We need manufacturing jobs here. You cannot go to Martinsville, Virginia, where today they have 17.8% unemployment, and tell me we don't need manufacturing. Northern Virginia, economic engine. Hampton Roads, economic engine. But we all pay for what happens in the rest of the Commonwealth. We're all part of it. We're one Commonwealth. We pay on insurance claims and all the benefits and so forth. We got to go out and get those jobs. And when the governor of Mississippi, the former chairman of the Republican National Committee, puts many millions on the table to say, Terry, I want your plan here, I got to go because I have a fiduciary duty to my shareholders. I will announce another plant beginning of next year. So I'll have 2,000 taxpayers down in Mississippi. I went to the poorest region, the poorest county in the United States of America. I promised to put every plant in an economically distressed area. We will announce our next plant, about 3,000 people. Dick, the state senate, take the initiative. All I want you to do is to bid but folks, we can't keep relying on what we've done here in the past. Yeah. But we need these kind of jobs. And as you probably know, when they shut the Franklin Mill down, 1,100 people thrown on the street, I went in with a group to buy it. We negotiated a deal, just got announced the other day. We're going to make wood pellets. We're going to save a couple hundred jobs. It's the beginning of a new business. We'll be the largest wood pellet operator in the entire East Coast, selling wood pellets to Europe. Now, if you don't know what wood pellets are, they're tiny. When you burn coal in Europe, they have a national standard. We should have one here. Where's Jim Moran? Still here? Jim? But you can only burn 80% coal. 20% has to be some green, some alternative. They use a lot of wood pellets. Last year did 11.5 million tons. They're going to 100 million tons. Folks, we ought to be all over this business. We should have offshore wind off the coast of Virginia Beach. We have a shallow... shallow outer shelf. We have the highest winds on the entire East Coast, and we have the largest transmission port outside of New York City right there in Norfolk. We could easily put those up. The General Assembly has on their desk a study that says we'll create 10,000 jobs if we begin, because we'll build the turbines and the blades here in Virginia. But my point, folks, is it's very hard to come and do business like I am. I can because I live here, but it's hard to come to the only state in the entire region that isn't required to buy what you're making. All those other states have to buy renewable energy. We got to get with it because we need new economic activity here in Virginia. The Department of Defense is cutting. Last year we got $35 billion. That equated to 530,000 jobs. They've just announced a 10% cut. You can do the math as easy as I can. That's $3.5 billion. It's 53,000 jobs that we could lose here in Virginia. We got problems with our carrier task forces. If we lose those are 15,000 jobs a clip. We can't continually rely on the United States government and Department of Defense money. We got to have new businesses here. And that's what I talk about. And that's why we need to elect these great Democrats who are going to fight for the things that matter. Education, we need more money, not less money. We're taking money out of education. You all know average teacher pay as a percent of the average salary here in Virginia. You know where we rank out of 50 states? We're 49th. We're 48th on Medicaid. And my point always is we got to make Virginia a welcoming place to bring in new business. And that's why I cringe when the governor talks about, talks about the Confederate History Month and then talks about was slavery important. Why does that matter? Because if you're a big business, let's take Boeing, which just went to South Carolina, which will be 100,000 jobs. Wow. 100,000. We didn't bid on it. We should have bid on that. But a large percentage of the workers in the Boeing plant, African Americans. Do you think it's welcoming to have a state that talks about this kind? When Ken Cuccinelli, and we need biotech here, we're lagging way behind Maryland and other states. We ought to be the leader of biotech. It's hard when you're Attorney General. You need to bring scientists here to Virginia. They're not going to come to the state where your Attorney General sues the work product. So all of this has an impact. And when the governor moves back on Executive Order 1, every governor should do Executive Order 1, but you ought to codify it. You ought to make it a part of law. Nobody should be discriminated against. We got to think out of the box, and we can't spend a year and a half wasting our time talking about liquor stores. Well, we're losing jobs. We're talking about liquor stores. And I don't know, Dick, how many did you have? You had like 10 licenses down in Page County, right? I mean, what, a $250,000 a clip? Well, they're all Baptists. They don't drink. Who's going to buy all these liquor licenses? Honestly, it made no sense to me. But think about this. This is the message coming out. And we've got to really change. And I said this the other day in the Richmond Times-Dispatch. Ashley got a true, which is good from the RTD. That's not easy. I know Lowell's logging here. I'm sure he'll send this down to him. But, and I said we haven't created new jobs. And in fact, since Governor McDonald's been in office, you take population growth and job losses, we're at net zero. We haven't created any new jobs. Contrary to all the nice little press releases of 60 jobs here and 70 jobs here, we haven't. And as you know, we did a transportation bill. We borrowed $3 billion on transportation for our unemployment benefits. You probably don't know this. We borrowed last year, $368 million from the federal government. We have to borrow $600 million this year. Probably didn't know that. That's $1 billion you all owe, all you taxpayers here in Virginia. We didn't do the VRS payment of $620 million. Now, I get it why we didn't, because it would have been draconian cuts to education. And we kicked the can down to the next governor with a 7.5% interest rate. Now, that's a big deal. But please, Governor and the rest, don't come back to me and say, we have a surplus here in Virginia.
Right.
I don't have a surplus if I don't pay my bills and I borrow more money from the bank and I kick the can down. These are all big issues. Transportation, we need to move forward. We all know we just got a DF for infrastructure here on our transportation. Our roads are clogged. We all know that. So that's why all of these candidates really matter. And we have got to work hard. I will say, finally, you're here. You're the activist. Thank you. We need a lot more like you. In 2010, I am still sick to my stomach that the idea that Barack Obama inherited the worst economy since the Great Depression. He got into office, he dealt with it, we've gotten all the bank TARP money back, we actually made money on it. He saved the auto industry, saved it, 1.5 million direct jobs, 10 times multiplier, he did that. He passed the largest middle class tax cut in U.S. history. He went out because, 40 million Americans had no health care in this country, had no health insurance. And when they go to the emergency room, who pays for it? You do. He's taken all these big issues, and the idea, folks, the Democrats stayed home, and we lost 63 seats. The most since 1948 is a disgrace. We should have won seats in 2010 for what Barack Obama has done as president, and that's why I'm saying to you, we got to get out and fight. If you let the other side define us, and if you let them tell the people who we are, we're going to lose. We got to get out, be strong in who we are, stand for what we believe in. We are right on the issues. And if you look historically, I know Jim was talking about the debt stuff a minute ago. Please don't lecture me, all these new activists are talking about that we're going to save the economy. Never lecture the Democrats on fiscal responsibility. Right. It was Ronald Reagan who came into office with a $900 billion debt. It went to $2.7 trillion. Right. That's an increase of 186%. He raised taxes 11 times. You probably didn't know that. I know it's his 100th birthday, and I apologize. But you are entitled to your opinion. You are not entitled to your own set of facts. George Bush Sr. came in office, increased the debt by 68%. George Bush Jr. came in, doubled the debt of the United States of America. Do not forget it. Only one president in the history of our country had 4 years of balanced budgets, 3 years of surplus, left office with a $5.6 trillion surplus, created 22.7 million new jobs. Folks, he was a Democrat, and his name was Bill Clinton. Yeah. So, I'm fired up. You got to be fired up. It is exciting. Let's do great. Let's help Dick. He needs a couple more senators. Let's pick up a couple of House of Delegate seats. And I caution everybody here in this audience, I say this in every speech I give, if we don't fight hard, the one thing that keeps me awake at night is if they pick up a couple more seats in the House of Delegates, they will have a veto-proof House of Delegates. Think about that. And I don't care what great legislation the state Senate puts out. It doesn't matter, because they can stop us over there. So we got to fight for every single seat. And folks, I promise you I'm standing here. We do great in 2011. Barack Obama will win it in 2012 here in Virginia, and he will be president of the United States again. They still giving the word to, still counting. But he's going to win. You ready?
Ready whenever you
Okay, so here goes the close. We will win because we are right on the issues. And the other side in 2010 just said no on everything. They didn't offer one single alternative. You know the debt debate going on today. I don't have to tell you, watch it every single night. What a disgrace this debt is and what's going on today. We have the right issues. They don't have them. Mitt Romney, you didn't like Obamacare. You clearly won't like what Mitt Romney did if that's the issue of members of the Tea Party. Let me tell you something interesting about Tim Pawlenty. There isn't anything. But, his big issue is cap and trade. We saw how well that did in the last election. And, you got the rest of them all out there. You've got Huntsman, who said the stimulus was half the size it should be. So they're going to have their issues over there, but we got to run like we're 20 points down. We got a great president. We got great candidates here in Virginia. We will win, keep the Senate seat here. We'll win the White House, and then we come back, and whoever it may be, and who knows what it's going to be, but we got to win that governor's mansion. But that will not happen if we don't do well the next 2 years. So this is it. Thank you. Have a great evening.